Anyone here played Persona 4 all the way through? Okay, I had to stop playing because the gay guy ended up not being gay. He was the badass with the skull on his t-shirt and the leather jacket, and it took place in a bathhouse. I think he was gay in the original Japanese game, and then when they Americanized it, he's like, it was only a phase. I was just confused. I had to stop playing it. And I think it was Daniel who told me that there was a gay guy in the game. So we're fighting. Oh, well, then I'm fighting with you, Naked Dan. It's my fault. Fighting. It's my angle. Put the knife down. All right, so what do you guys have to say? What do you have to say about gaming? Any questions for us? Oh, Dan's gonna come out and get the microphone.
Start the microphone.
Right. Oh, so you're just gonna hand it to someone and make them talk?
I'm gonna shut your mouth.
Greatest gay moment for breaking stereotypes. I remember being a kid and playing Metroid, and some of you guys will probably relate to this. When you get through the very end of the game and you beat it at a really short time, Samus takes off her gear, and it was the first time that I remember a heroine actually being a girl, and it broke stereotypes because through the entire game you're in this really bulky armor and you're killing aliens and you're like, oh cool, you know, it's a guy, and at the very end of the game you take off your armor and you're a girl, and that like totally blew your mind. You run to school the very next day and you tell all your friends, did you guys beat Metroid already? You guys know that Samus is really a girl?
Samus is a girl.
Yeah. That was like very revolutionary for
That
games.
was cool. I was stoked on that moment too. I know I've mentioned it on our podcast a couple times. That was one of those like, holy shit. I mean, it was like, I don't know if any of you watched The Wire, but they had a character on there named Omar who was like this hardcore gangster. And he was gay. It was another one of those that's kind of like, make people think one way and then you just switch it on them and you know, just by doing that you make people question their own preconceived notions of what a hero is, what a gangster is, whatever, you know,
What gender means.
right. That was a very cool moment.
That was the thing with this, at that moment especially, is that you really couldn't tell who was under that armor. It could have been anybody. And at the time when Metroid came out, there were very few female heroes, and none of which were on that kind of scale. You know, you had games like, you know, Athena or something, but none of them that were like, you know, big guns blazing, Sigourney Weaver kind of fighter types.
Right.
Yeah, Samus was badass.
Standing toe to toe with any guy and any alien. Any alien guy.
And that was the first time that anything like that happened. And I think that was also a decision halfway through the development of the game too. They decided to do.
Go ahead, pick it up.
Yeah, grab the mic.
I think in the original play guide for it, that it comes with the game, it actually describes him as a guy. Like it said his, and then at the very end, they turned it down.
It's like they had been developing the booklet, and they're like,
Switch it up.
there was no communication between the programmers and the graphic designers, basically.
They're like, oops. Well, maybe she was both.
Can I hear your comments on Birdo being a transgender character?
On who?
Birdo? Super Mario Bros. 2.
Alright, well then let me know.
Super Mario 2, the first kind of boss character was Birdo, which is this pink bird that shoots eggs at you. And you jump on the eggs, pick them up, and throw them back. And in the original instruction booklet, it said that Birdo was a boy who thought he was a girl.
Oh, awesome.
That was from the Japanese film, though, right?
I don't know. No, that was the American book, the very first book. That's what it said. And almost immediately afterwards, Nintendo said that was wrong, and Birdo was always a girl. And that was a printing error. It's like, no, it wasn't. That's the way it was printed out.
Like, some gay guy in the graphics department got fired.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, in Persona 4, there's a girl who I was thinking was going to be transgender or wanted to be a boy. But then when I got to the part where the gay guy wasn't gay, I just assumed that there's no way they'd go there. But then it made me wonder, like, why not? Like, that would have made the character much more interesting. And that game was a game about character. You went into the game and you those people had to face their biggest fears, the thing that they were most trying to hide from other people. And then it was like, you know, I really want a guy to like me. Oh, yeah, that's rough.
Roll credits.
Go ahead and pick up the microphone.
My question is just in terms of sexuality in gaming. As games development, you can create a character however you want. How do you feel about adding an option at the beginning of a game where you can select if your character is gay or straight, and that will dictate the remainder from point one when you start, and that will dictate all your love interests in the game. So if you choose a straight character, all your love interests will be women, or if you choose a gay character, then all your love interests would be male, because the way they are now, you can select in the game if you know, there's a female or a guy, but I feel that if you were able to select at the beginning, and all your choices were aimed at your sexuality, how do you feel about that idea, opinion, or...
It even seems like it would be simple. I mean, it's like, you know, for the programmers, if you chose, you know, if you're a male character and you chose homosexual, it just swaps whatever that choice tree is gender-wise for the NPCs or your, you know, your people that you have in your party for the rest of the game. It doesn't seem like it would be that difficult, and it would remove all the complaining, you know, that people might have about, like, well, we don't want to be a gay character. It's like, fine, like, you don't have to be a gay character. I think that would be fantastic.
I think it's more for straight people. I don't know if that's really for gay people. I mean, I would prefer, because my fear then is that they're going to decide what gay is. And I don't necessarily want them to do that for me. I'd rather either the hero be, the sexuality does not come up at all, or I get to choose through my actions. And I'm not saying that every character in the game has to be gay, every romance option has to be gay, but I believe that there should be one if there's going to be a romance option. And I feel like Dragon Age 2 did a good job with just having that heart icon, and I thought that was clear enough for me to know what I was doing, even though people complain, like, I didn't know I was flirting with that guy. You pick the heart 3 times in a row. and again, whenever you do that in a game, the person's like, really? Because, you know, if you're gay, that's okay, but if you're not gay, then I was just kind of kidding and just saying stuff and saying stuff. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you really sure? Really, really sure? Really sure? Really? Okay. Hit it one more time. Okay, you're sure. All right.
Well, I think that's the thing too, is that I think in a lot of those trees, I think it just has the same kind of progression whether you're playing a man or a woman. And I agree with what you said. I think if they did a gay option, they have to do a whole like separate plot line, and it may not be as fully developed as the main plot line. You run into issues again with, you know, how gay are they going to make it? Are they going to make it really chaste? Are they going to make it really silly? You run into problems like that unless you have a gay person designing it. That would be different.
I don't agree with that, but that's just whatever. I just feel like it would, you know, like I was saying, that it would just swap whichever genders that you interact with in a romantic way throughout the game, and wouldn't necessarily have to be the story of the game, but just, you know, just giving you the ability. I like the idea a lot.
I think it's funny that you say that, because I know Daniel probably a little better than you guys do, but Daniel...
It's not true.
Doesn't necessarily like come out as gay. Not that he's not ashamed of being gay, but it's not something that he feels he needs to mention a bunch of times. And so it seems strange to me that you would say in a game I need to define that my character is gay, because I hate that would be a defining character. Part of me hates that would be the defining characteristic. And part of me wants to say that the character is the character, and he can be gay, or she can be gay, or she can be bi, or whatever she is. But I don't have to tell you that on the screen. I prefer to make that decision on my own. I don't know if you guys played Dead Island, but it was a pretty good game. My favorite part of the game...
Lots of gay zombies.
Really hot gay zombies. Board shorts, you know, how do you go wrong? Every time they did a cutscene, it killed the character for me, because in my head, I was building the story of, this is survival on the island. Like, I was telling the story of my character, and then the cutscene came on, and completely killed it. Suddenly my guy was an asshole, or making decisions about, we need to let the kids die because I'm saving myself. I'm like, wait, that's not the character I was making. And I sort of feel like if you pick gay, then again, they're deciding what gay is.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at this strictly, I'm kind of looking at this from a, it's theoretical. I mean, I'm just kind of, it's like if they're going to decide that I'm going to be straight,
Yeah.
then I would like the option of choosing. I mean, that's where I'm going to get this from.
Dan, what would you choose?
I can understand certain things for the most part, as for like story-wise, but it still would be nice for them to actually go out and create a story based on the fact that the main character is gay.
That would be cool. If we could create some games that had Mr. Jones! Sorry. One of my favorite people is hiding in the back. Sorry, Mr. Jones, you completely distracted me. There's so much gay stuff that we can mine for games that's going to make it more interesting. We can add camp, we can add color, we can add characterization, we can add complexity. We can add storylines that fit everyday people but include gay characters. The Coming Out story is a story about an individual who feels that he or she is different. And I think everyone can relate to that. Are you putting that in your mouth? What? Oh, you turned it off.
Demonstration.
Damn it!
I think I would almost prefer if they're going to make it gays and games, they would make the whole game gay. Like, just make it as queer as you can make it. I want rainbows, I want unicorns, I want 14 penises on one person. Penis eyes that have penises. Well, we can take more to eat.